showtime!
Let me just start off by saying that Ayato is a ton of fun. If you're a person who doesn't mind a little bit more of a simplistic playstyle, or you really like attack speed, or you really just like flashy characters, Ayato might be for you. Conversely, if you're someone who found a character like Ganyu really boring because all you do is charge shot, wait, charge shot, wait, charge shot, wait, and just do that until everything dies around you, Ayato might be a little bit boring for you because he doesn't even do that. He literally just activates his skill and then holds down a button. That is fine by me though, because damn, he looks good doing it. Now you could instead use him for a support with his burst, like, you know, some people do with Ganyu, but that's not what I'm going to focus on today. This is not a meta-analysis video or anything like that. This is just me wanting to focus on a character that I love and that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. We're of course going to see the usual roller coaster of, oh my god, he's broken, holy shit, he sucks, skip him, pull him, like all that crap. We know the usual drill by now. And well, I'm just here to tell you, he's fun. If you like him, pull him. I think he's a solid unit. However, what I really want to show you is his attack speed build. Not because it's good, because it's really not great, but it's fun, and isn't that what you're playing a game for, to have fun? So let's just get right into it. What is the team? Well, obviously it's got Ayato in it. Front and center, he is the center of the team. There's not really any reactions to help him. And even worse than that, this team is beyond inaccessible to most people. I'm gonna be straight up. Sadly, a lot of people aren't gonna be able to ever really touch this build, at least not for a long time. However, if you happen to have all these pieces lying around, then go for it, try it out. It's something. So anyway, back to the point. You got C2 Jean for her constellation, giving attack speed for quite a long time, which is good because there's a lot of shit to do for this. Then you got C6 Yunjin. Fortunately, she is on his banner, so if you're rolling for him, you might get her. And then finally, we have possibly the most useless and most annoying member of this team. We have Chongyun with his C2, which doesn't offer attack speed, but gives cooldown reduction, which will allow Ayato to do his thing more, and more importantly, his A1, which does give attack speed, and the most important part of this, Song of Broken Pines, which, yeah, totally everyone just has one of those lying around for a Chongyun to use. I'm gonna be honest though, I may love attack speed, but god damn do I hate using Chongyun in this team. Like, I thought it would be a lot more fun, but holy shit, all thanks to C6 Jean, I can't see a goddamn thing. I could just not use her burst, but I gotta do something while I wait for the freaking energy particles to gently float through the air towards her to activate her C2. God forbid you also decide to activate Yunjin's burst first, adding a bunch of little floating flags around you. Like, how the hell are you expected to see some tiny little broken pines glyphs amongst all this crap? All I can say is I'm so thankful. I'm so very thankful that we do not have buff timers in this game. Like, look, our screen space is so cluttered. How am I supposed to see anything through all this UI? We had buff timers on top of this. We may as well just cover our screens black because we won't see anything. You know, things might actually be pretty cluttered right now. I think the health bar, we don't really need that. That's not important. And party frames, no, we don't need those either. I don't need to see when my party members have bursts, because every time their bursts come up, I can't see enemies anymore. We also don't need the burst indicator at the bottom. We don't need to know when our burst is all cool. Then what would actually be better is if the vision on our character, the saturation is turned up about 10%. That'd be very noticeable and would really clear the clutter off the screen. Okay, I've had my fun. Back to Ayato. Obviously, this is all about Ayato's damage. There's no reactions to really help him out here. It's just Mimi full-on attack speed. Obviously, it could be made a little bit better with C4, but yeah, no thanks. I would love it, but I would also love to pay rent. I mean, I don't want to pay rent, but I have to. And before I go any further, I would like to explain why attack speed is good on Ayato if you don't know. He's pretty unique as far as melee characters go because he is not subject to hit lag. That is something that brutalizes a lot of characters when you're stacking attack speed. It really diminishes the effectiveness of it. And normally, if you're a character whose 100% damage is coming from normal attacks, you would think 15% attack speed would just equal 15% increased damage, but sadly, due to hit lag, that is not the case. Given that Ayato is pretty much all basic attack damage, aside from a little help from his burst, this makes him a perfect candidate for this, and which is why I find it so fun. Combine that with naturally great AoE when his skill is active, and the fact that you can just hold down the button makes him pretty fun for this. And once again, he gives you some pretty damn good eye candy to look at while he's doing it. Even if you don't have C6 Yunjin, you can obviously use her with Ayato because she just buffs normal attacks, and that's what he's all about. She can be a little hard to battery though. Obviously, unlike Beidou, you can just charge up her skill and get good hits with it, slap a Fav's Lance on her, and she's pretty much good to go, but she still might not have her burst ready every time it's needed. She also has the benefit of just being a character that not many other teams want, so you don't have to worry about taking her away from a more important team, like in the case of someone like Bennett or Xingqiu. I also personally just love her design, like both as her character and her kit. She's a cool support and I love looking for any reason to use her, and Ayato is a perfect excuse. I would probably try to include her in most teams he's in anyway. If anyone's going to get a boot from this team, obviously it's Chongyun. Not only does he need Broken Pines to even really justify being there, but he's also the most annoying and clunkiest unit of the party. And who are you going to replace him with? Obviously, Kazuha. I mean, there's other options you could do. You could do like Xingqiu for like pure Hydro, or you could do like Xiangling. I, however, just wanted to make Ayato himself do as much damage as humanly possible, and what better way than to add Kazuha to the party, because that's what he does. The only real downside is to actually be able to proc VV with him on Hydro and stuff, you gotta have Ayato's burst active, which isn't a huge ask, but if you don't have the burst active before you're about to use his E, well, then you don't really have a reason for Kazuha being there. However, in this case, because you're opening up with Ayato's burst, you actually get to swap off of him and make use of his passive, which honestly, before he launched, I thought was going to be kind of crap. This passive may not be an insane source of energy, but it will help you maintain your burst as much as you possibly can. Which once again, because in this kind of team comp you're opening up with Ayato's burst, it just gets to do some work anyway, and it will help you not get stuck at just being like a few energy shy of using his burst, and then having to wait until someone else's skill is up to get you some energy. From my limited testing so far, the attack speed build obviously isn't anything amazing. I never expected it to be some crazy groundbreaking meta comp, but it's fun. It's about as fun as I expected it to be, maybe even a bit more. You know, once you get your hands on a character, it's a lot more fun than just looking at it. Shocker, I know. Attack speed build aside though, I would just like to take a little bit to talk about what I like so much about Ayato, because again, we're going to be seeing the videos that are going to talk about his numbers and his place in the meta and comparing him to other units, and while I may think he's probably going to be worse than Child or probably around the same level if he's lucky, that doesn't mean though that he's not without his own benefits. I think two of the greatest strengths that he has over Child, if they are to fill very similar roles, is that one, Ayato doesn't need to work with a complicated skill for some people. Some people might stay in it too long, they might have a hard time following the flow of the skill and cooldown balance. And on top of that, Ayato has a lot more artifact diversity, most notably being that he can actually use a gladiator set. A set that any player who's been playing for a decent amount of time should have a really strong set of by now, or at least a couple. Unless you've been throwing them away thinking that no one will ever use these things, which, come on, don't do. You really never know when a new character is going to come along and actually be able to use one of these old artifact sets. Child would have been a user of Gladiator in the very beginning when Peak of Vindanir didn't exist. Unfortunately for Child, bows are excluded from Gladiator's list of weapons. Despite that though, it probably won't be his best in slot. That will go to either 4-piece Heart of Depth or 4-piece new artifacts that I don't even know the name of it off by heart. Gotta remember though, substats beat set bonus, especially when set bonuses are so close to each other, and there's a good chance it's gonna take a lot of people a good while of farming to get an artifact set that beats their strongest gladiator pieces. As for weapons, you got a lot of options. The Black Sword is obviously one that a lot of players are going to go to. The Black Sword is an amazing 4-star sword. Unfortunately for the Black Sword, not a lot of people have wanted it. It's been kind of a homeless weapon. If you're fortunate enough to have a 5-star, you can pretty much go with any of the limited options, whether it be Mist Splitter or Jade Cutter, his signature weapon, lots of options, and not as much competition as some other weapons like, Staff of Homa. I can't tell you which one is best. Obviously, like if you have just one 5-star, just go with it. If you want a really good team comp to run, obviously I don't think the attack speed team is the way to go. Not only will a lot of people just not be able to do it, but it wasn't very good. I was able to 36-star the Abyss with it, but it wasn't a very comfortable clear, at least compared to other teams I have, with quite frankly a lot less investment than a C2 Ayato with probably a best in slot weapon. Not to mention a pretty damn good set of Gladiators gear. I'm not going to say it's like God tier, but it's pretty damn close. I had a lot better results with throwing them in a team like Ayato, Kazuha, Bennett, and Xiangling, but that is literally cheating. You're just throwing a new character in with 3 of the most broken units in the entire game in a team comp that's already established, just with Child in its place. With Sucrose as an alternative for Kazuha though, it's definitely a lot more attainable than most other comps. I didn't test anywhere near close to everything. You can still do other things like try like a reverse Morgana comp with Ayato's burst instead of Ganyu's. I don't think I'd recommend using Ganyu and Ayato together. It's kind of unnecessary. I personally am most interested in comps where Ayato is on the field attacking. That's what I like about him, and that's what I'm going to keep using him for. Obviously the burst is great, but I just want to use it as a a source of supportive damage, not the whole reason for him being there. I'm not going to tell you to pull for him or to skip him. I'm not really that kind of person. I am always just say pull whatever you want to. If it's fun, pull it. I think Ayato's a blast. If you think a simplistic playstyle is boring, he might not be for you, like I said earlier. And if you're just waiting for the next big meta character, then obviously just wait. Let smarter people than me figure out if he's going to be good or not. They'll try all kinds of comps, everything possible, and soon enough we'll know where he stands. All I can say is that he's one of my favorite characters because his playstyle suits me very well and checks a lot of the boxes that I look for in a character. That's all I got for now. If you liked my psychotic rant earlier about buff icons and how much it pisses me off that they're not in the game, maybe check out my list of 99 problems that I literally just made before this video. It's a little less unhinged and a little bit more structured. Regardless though, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff that YouTube likes. Happy Ayato and Chasming, and I will see you in the next one.
Inazuma shines